Hey, welcome to Bears Banner. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Today on the broadcast, you have Keith Floyd Noy, Guy Moore. He's in hiding right now. Yeah, he's pulling those back in the 1970s when they used to call them the Ain't for the Saints fans. You got Jay Beasley. Tammy is not going to be able to make the broadcast today, and Dr. Quick will be on shortly. Man, how y'all doing today after this awful game? The Bears fall 41-10 to the Lions.
I feel atrocious today, so I'm doing the same thing as the Bears performance.
Okay.
Embarrassed. Embarrassed. I don't even want to show. I need to go to the gas station. I don't even want to show my face in public.
Wakanda forever. Okay.
I'll drink to that.
hey, the Bears defense could have used some uranium.
Yeah.
Something.
Look, we all need to have some tattooed Thanos gloves on this day, man.
They could have used some water, some tackling, some clothes. They could have used everything. That was ridiculous.
But you know what? I've come to a realization, man. I realize, that Billy Paul song, Me and Mrs. Jones. Braxton Jones is her husband, and I see why she did what she did. We met every day.
Man, I ain't never seen a 300-pound guy get thrown into another guy to make a tackle. That was ridiculous.
Hey, they should have gave Braxton Jones credit for that sack. I mean,
right.
He was the one that hit. He don't want to hit Fields. The other guy did.
Right.
I almost spit out my water.
It was just a bad performance all the way around today. The first quarter came out. They came out real promising, but they've done that all year. They come out in the first half, and Justin Fields had 105 yards rushing in the first quarter. So, but it's one of the things where this team is just bad. It's just a bad football team. And that second half, like I was telling you guys before the broadcast started, I remember in the Trustman years when we gave up back-to-back 50 burgers against the Patriots and the Packers, and it didn't look as bad as this. That today, it looked bad. It looked bad. And you know what? I'm just glad, we down to one more game. We don't even know when they're playing. They haven't even set the schedule yet, whether they're going to play Saturday or Sunday or next week.
Don't matter.
I'm just glad. It really doesn't matter. I just want Justin Fields to get through this without having to rehab something.
They're going to do like Madden. They just going to simulate the game. Man, but you know what? The weirdest thing, too, that I saw, like with the defense, I mean, it goes to what we've been preaching all the time. I don't care how great your safeties are. I don't care what type of dogs. If you don't have no pass rush, you putting them on an island. And the funny thing I said in the text, I'm like, they sitting out here trying to disguise a cover 2 as a cover 1. And I'm like, everybody in the whole stadium is like, they better drop that dude back in coverage. And lo and behold, as soon as they drop him back right there in that empty spot, just Goff is like.
And it's just like I told y'all, I don't know what defense that you call when you got the linebacker, the middle linebacker, the outside linebacker, and the cornerback. They're all in the flat. Ain't nobody covering the middle.
Oh, I know what defense it is. That's a cover none.
cover nobody. That's a cover nobody. That is a cover nobody.
Zero is cover none.
So
Pro Bowl, it's like the Pro Bowl.
They literally
when they snap the ball and they just staring there like this.
They literally checked out in the second half, man. They literally checked out, and it looked so bad. I'm just glad it wasn't a nationally televised game. But that looks so bad, man. They literally checked out in the second half, and we need. Well, we already know. We need players. we don't need bodies. Because we got bodies now. We need players.
It wasn't a Flournoy televised game. After watching it. I mean, I was truly embarrassed. I mean, to call myself a defensive player, I say I don't know what to say here. You don't have any idea what to tell them that can help improve the team other than run. And that's what Detroit was doing all over us all game anyway.
And everybody that ran the ball for a touchdown for Detroit win the end zone untouched. Everybody was untouched. Everybody was untouched. Right. Like Quick say over say, you get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Just untouched. Everybody went in the end zone untouched. I'm like, wow. This is absolutely pathetic.
Here's the funny thing. When they pulled
Jared, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
The Quick, when they pulled Jared Goff, I think everybody in this whole stratosphere knew the next play was going to be a running play. And it's like, I'm looking at this dude, I'm like, it's one thing to miss a tackle, but it's just like he just walked through like it was nothing. Terrible.
Hey, Mike, what you got going on? Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. Y'all seem like y'all upset that the Bears lost. Man. What is the problem here, man?
Mike, we not upset. Mike, we not upset. Mike, we not upset. It's about how pathetic and lethargic they look. It's not about us being upset that they lost. It's about the product that it's like what we saw on that field today was absolutely pathetic. Hey, it was pathetic. I mean, these are pros. So I still expect effort. You're not good. Right. You're not good, but give me effort. And I saw no effort today.
You did. You saw a great effort to secure the number 2 pick. That was the greatest effort I saw all year long. I don't know.
Happy New Year, Rain. Thank you for
Ray, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Rain. Happy draft day, everybody. Happy
I can't wait.
Man, what's wrong? Y'all need a hug, man.
That's more than the Bears was doing to Detroit.
No, we don't need a hug. We need an abacus, man. They had 504 total yards, man.
500 yards of total offense.
You run out of fingers and toes and stuff.
Called tanking, man. Tank.
That ain't tanking.
Not plank, tank. Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
That's pretty pathetic. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The effort was pretty pathetic.
Happy draft day, guys.
7.2 yards per play.
We officially locked up the number 2 pick.
This was a real rough outing. It started out the Bears hit 10 points in the first quarter. I believe the score was 10-7 in the first quarter. And I want to say there was probably one first down in the second quarter, and the Bears didn't get another first down until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
With like 3 minutes left. Like 3 minutes left. Yeah.
Hey, can we swap St. Brown Brothers? Can we?
No. I wish.
No, can we swap?
I'll take the dad.
You see that? He ain't like a hot
We take John Brown.
Yeah, I'll take him.
Look at the name, John Brown. You see him? They showing him up. Oh, he's back to back, Mr. Olympic. He sit up here. His neck was this wide, man. But you know who I felt sorry for more than anybody else? They daughter. She's sitting up there like this, like I ain't gonna never get a husband or a boyfriend. Imagine you go to the crib to date her and open the door and he show up.
Right. Right.
Well, but if the brothers show up, you're like, you know what? I think I get a chance. I think I can take it.
Right.
No, but he may not be able to play, but I think he kind of smart though. He might try to outsmart me, but I just
I don't want to hear about any attributes that don't help the football team win.
No,
so I don't want to hear about passion, compassion. He's good at cooking. I want to hear about him tackling and hitting people in the mouth.
No, but when we talk about ESB, we can't talk about football. We got to talk about cooking and books and stuff because what is there to say about him in football?
This was so bad that at a certain point in the game, when the announcers started saying it looked like they was playing against the scout team.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
So Dr. Quick, that's what I'm talking about. Anytime you got the announcers talking about your team as a scout team, that's what the embarrassing part comes in at. Like I said, I need to go fill my car.
Used to try.
I need to go fill my car.
They run plays.
I need to go to the gas station. I need to go to the gas station. I don't even want to show my face in public.
First of all, on the scout team, it's a difference because the scout team actually sees the play that's coming. All right, they know what the play is. Like we're gonna run this play 7 times in a row. So there's a difference. All right. Did I say it already? Happy draft day, everybody. Happy draft day. Happy draft day.
Oh, man.
I am not upset.
I'm not upset either. I'm not upset. I'm not upset.
So I'm upset.
I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed in the effort. That's all. I'm not upset
I
Look,
really
I
didn't want
expect
there to be
football
any
players to
effort
tackle
today.
people and to block people. I'm sorry.
because
That's my
again, y'all heard me say it on the show weeks and weeks ago. I didn't think the Bears was gonna win another game.
I thought about you too when they were going against it. I'm like, damn, Jay did say that.
They're not gonna win another game.
And I said I didn't want them to win another game. So this is according to the plan, the purpose, the will, year of 2023.
God, what are you drinking? Moonshine? You drinking out of a jug?
It's Everclear.
Okay. You know what? Give me some of that too. Forget it.
Be able to tackle somebody tonight.
You could drink this because it's water, man. I'm so doggone. I was just looking at that game. That game was so bad I can't even drink. I'm drinking water.
Jimmy Red said he's not upset about the
game.
with
the product.
He's upset with.
He's not upset with the product. He not the loss. Right. Upset with the product, not the loss.
But but then again,
but we know what. But we knew what the product was going in, so it is what it is. It is what it is.
So will we be bad for rooting for Houston to win one more game?
I was hoping they won today. Like, man, come on.
They ain't gonna win another. They ain't gonna win another game, right?
Yeah, they got smoked today, didn't they? I think.
They did.
They played Jacksonville.
Yeah, they did.
That sucked like the Bears, and went into the draft and got Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence
and all those.
Now they in the playoffs. I'm just saying, playoffs. I'm just saying, there's a, I sense a pattern developing of what's been happening in the NFL. The Eagles sucked a couple years ago. Jalen Hurts was barely playing here and there. They was trying to decide if he was going to start, not start, and all that. And look at the Eagles, Did
they win today? Did they win today or did they lose?
They lost.
They did lose. Okay. Yeah.
He was out again today.
Yeah, he was out again today. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you look at the Giants, who suck. They got Daniel Jones and a couple draft picks here and there. They just clinched the playoffs. I'm just saying,
And then there was a Nick Foles.
So basically, what you're saying is teams are built through the draft. That's basically what you're saying.
All I'm saying is trust the process.
Quick, I was watching the games yesterday, the college games, and I was watching Jalen Carter from Georgia. Like, hey, he gonna help us stop people from running. I don't think so. Then I watched Will Anderson. He got maybe one tackle in the whole game. I'm like, man, I can't even count on the guys that's coming.
The guys at the top of the draft, the guys that they slating to be at the top of the draft. Watching them yesterday, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed at all. Now it could have been that they had an off game, but I wasn't impressed with neither one of those guys.
I watched.
It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be some decisions made.
What you saying? The number one defense can't give up, 45 points.
No, I was watching the games yesterday. Like, why is Bama not here? That's what I was watching.
So was I. I don't know.
Bama ain't there because they record didn't show that they should be there. And that's the thing. And that's the thing about the college football playoffs. So if we go switch gears to go college football playoff, that's what the college football playoffs is about.
They lost to two quality teams.
Yeah, they did.
If you play Purdue and Iowa and that all year, then because actually what they said was the Big Ten defensives lost yesterday because they didn't play any offenses during the season. Who they play?
Probably right.
But
Indiana,
I still,
Northwestern, Illinois.
But guess what? It's still one of those things where it's like you only play the teams that you put in front of you. Right. That's put in front of you.
Right. So you got a better chance of winning.
All these college teams make their own schedules. Granted, Alabama, you can talk about Alabama. They play in the SEC. The SEC really not all that strong outside of Georgia and maybe Tennessee. Kentucky is on the upswing.
Blasphemy.
But it's the truth.
Bama is in the top area.
Yes, they are.
LSU, Tennessee.
LSU wasn't really that good this year. LSU wasn't really good that year. They really weren't good this year. LSU wasn't really good. You got an up and rising. You got an up and rising Kentucky, and you got a Tennessee, and then you got Georgia. I mean, what you calling decent? 7-4, 7-4. What you calling decent?
I understand the argument, but it based the way the system set up. it's hard to justify putting a team with 3 losses in the championship.
Absolutely.
It's hard to justify.
No, 2 losses. 2 losses now. We talking about 2 losses. They had 2 losses.
Hey,
everybody else that was in the top 4, everybody else that was had 1 loss.
I got to argue with Jimmy Red real quick. Jimmy Red said in his 57 years he's never seen the Bears that bad, and he was embarrassed. I got 2 words for you: Mel Tucker.
Right.
No, he said I've never seen Adidas bad. And that's what she said.
He was the one that gave up the back-to-back. He was the one that gave up the back-to-back 50 burgers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't give up.
Hey, so let's just wrap up these the Bears, and then we can move to a little college football talk. I'm gonna give a few,
whatever.
I'm gonna give a little
lacrosse. The lacrosse team is on something.
Hey, let me share a little bad information, but it's information. Justin Fields went 7 for 21 today, passed for 75 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. He had 10 carries for 132 yards. Cole Kmet had 2 catches.
Wow.
Yeah. Jared Goff had 29 attempts, 21 completions, 255 yards. They running back. I can't remember his first name, but it's Williams is his last name. He had 22. Jamal
Williams.
144 yards. Man,
DeAndre Swift.
Yes, yeah. The Bears had 9 first downs. Detroit had 26 first downs. Total offense, the Lions had 504. The Bears had 230. As far as grades, I get a Bears F's all the way across the field.
Absolutely.
No, wait, stop. I got 1 grade where they didn't get an F.
Which grade is that?
Special teams. Valus Jones got a 63-yard kickoff return. I got to get a boy his props. That's the only thing I saw. Well, that and Justin Fields' run. Those are the only 2 things that I saw even worth watching the entire game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give him an F across the board, and I'll give a 63-yard return with 7 seconds left in the second quarter, but that he brought it out 7 yards deep. Because my thing with that, I had a problem with that. I'm like, okay, you brought it out 7 yards deep right before the half. Now you're already down. But what I'm saying is, now you're already down in the second half. You're down, and now you not catching the ball. You're already down points. So if you're going to take it out 7 yards deep, at that time, take it out every time. Take it out every time.
I agree with you.
F. All across the board.
No.
Those are A's.
Draft day. Draft. It should be D for draft day. Come on, guys. Golly. Draft day. You got something to look forward to.
Right. We got to stay focused on the goal, Mike. We got to stay focused on the goal.
Don't let them get you distracted, Jay.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Right, man. I have a dream today. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream, but I still have a dream. But we have little white boys on the offensive line and little black boys on the offensive line blocking and scoring touchdowns, but I still do have a dream.
You got a dream?
Yeah. I dream that we get some defensive linemen and some linebackers. I have a dream.
Right. Because our front seven is garbage. They garbage.
God.
Moving to the Alabama game, Alabama won against Kansas State 45-20. I will say this, though, about Will Anderson in that game. I did think he did create pressure at times, and for them to come off that long break, they moved him around. He played almost every position on the line. He was playing they put him at defensive end. They put him at nose. They put him at tackle. I mean, he was on the left side of the field, the right side of the field.
Did he make any tackles?
No, he looked gassed. He looked gassed, but that's why I mentioned the long break. I don't know. I had to look at him more when this next game came. But I will say he was the only one on a line that was constantly looking like he was getting double teamed. often. So I can't say he was being blocked by one guy, but other than that, I didn't see a lot that impressed me. But I had to look at the next game. That's the only thing I wanted to say about that game for me personally, because it really was the other two games, because those teams are not wasn't in the championship. They done.
But I'm just gonna tell y'all something. I'm so mad at Ryan Day. I'm so mad at Ohio State's coach. Because look, the bottom line is this. This is to go to the national championship. Don't even attempt to kick that extra point. Go for it. If you're gonna go for it, go for it. If you want to go to the national championship, when you tie this game up, you got in position. You can't trust kickers, man. You can't trust kickers in college or in the NFL. You can't trust kickers.
You saying that wasn't a good kick that he tried to win the game?
No.
And then he burnt a lot of. He made some coaching errors down.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He let a lot of time burned out when he. I believe he had 3 timeout at that point, and he let almost over a minute or so run off the clock before he even called any timeouts. And he they needed that time. He was choking. He needed that time on the other side of the ball when they actually got the ball back. So that's one of the things I do agree that Ryan Day should have used his timeouts. And I think
I thought you were talking about Jim Harbaugh too. My bad.
No, they just no. Let me tell you something. Michigan just got beat. Michigan got beat. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Look. I'm gonna tell y'all something. TCU, people can say what they want to. That quarterback, I would take him on my team.
Wait,
that dude got moxie and guts.
On the 1 yard line.
Look, man.
Pick six.
Look.
Think about all of the stuff the Michigan.
And they had the ball on the 1 and the 2, and then
and the 2
points.
Yep.
That's not. That got nothing to do with TCU quarterback.
Yep.
Right.
It has something to do with TCU's team and their defense.
Oh man,
I'm gonna tell you.
Drop the ball on the 1. That ain't got
Did Michigan choke? Did Michigan choke? Absolutely, they did. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. You gotta get TCU.
Big 10.
You gotta get TCU their props. You gotta get TCU their props, man.
Michigan.
You gotta get TCU their props. You gotta get TCU their props.
Ohio State choked, and Alabama just smoked the team that whooped TCU and took them to overtime.
And guess what? They still ain't in it.
I get TCU their props if they.
You gotta get them their props, man. No. You gotta get them their props.
If they beat Georgia and win the national championships, then they earn their props. If Georgia go out there and give them a beat down like Detroit gave the Bears today, why am I gonna be giving them any props? That don't make no sense.
Because I'm gonna tell y'all, TCU got a dog at wide receiver though.
They got one dog. Yep. You need a group of dogs to go to a hunting party, though.
Yeah.
You know what? Watching that game, the way that game initially was unfolding, it didn't even look like Michigan was going to be competitive early on.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, they were really kind of dog walking them early on.
Yes, they were.
That's because of that first play on the 2-yard line where they rolled out and did all that and didn't score. It was 0-0.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but they ended up making it. It still was ended up being a good game. It ended up being a slugfest. I mean, I didn't expect it to last that long. But
Ohio State lost the whole game when Harrison went out the game.
That's why.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Because he's the best wide receiver that's not going to be in the draft this year.
Clearly, can we draft him anyway like Larry Bird?
right. Can we put a future? Right? Can we put a future pick in for him? Yeah, he's the best wide receiver in the country. That's not coming out the draft. That's not going to be in the draft this year. That kid is special.
10 choked like they usually do. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
choke city.
Yeah, I would say the Big Ten don't come through on these games.
They usually get blown out though. So yeah, it looked better, but they still lost. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia, Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah, they did throw the guy for target. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No, they did because it wasn't. That wasn't Jimmy.
He hit him with
was not targeting.
How did he get hit in the head?
That was not targeting.
Then how did he get in concussion protocol if he didn't get hit in the head?
You could get hit in the head without it being targeted. You
I
can
don't
get
know.
hit.
I
You
clearly
can get hit in the
I've
head.
had too many concussions in my life. Every time I got hit in the head. I'm just saying. That don't make me a
But
concussion expert, but I know a
but
little
can you
something
get
about
hit?
it.
But can you get hit in the head with a shoulder? You can get hit in the head with a shoulder. You can get
Yeah.
You can get under a person's chin. You can get under a person's face mask with a shoulder. It's just all about
Yeah, but if
how
you
the
hit him in
tackle
the
is being
head with
made.
a shoulder, ain't that still
That,
targeting?
that's not true.
No, that's not.
Okay.
No,
That's
that's not
true.
targeted. That's not targeted.
There are
What's the
many
definition
effects
of
that go into
targeting, Mike?
targeting. Using the shoulder, the crown of your head, and
Right.
striking opponent above the shoulder or in the head and launching. All right. You have to use yourself as a weapon. Now, rewinding that play, and looking at it, it looks like if you're talking about the one from Michigan,
That's what he's talking about.
it looks like he hit him in the back and didn't clearly hit him in the head. That's the only reason why that call wasn't called. But it looks like targeting from where I'm sitting at. That's the only reason. When they went back and reviewed it, that was the only. So that review came from the field. I mean, came from the booth, right? So they looked at it to see if it was targeted, and they said it wasn't.
Oh wow.
And they got like 90 different camera angles.
Right. They got a hell of a lot more camera angles
And
than we
slow
got.
motion and all of that too.
Right. So what we were looking at from live footage, we got like 2 angles, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like targeting to me, and then when they showed the back angle it's where the striking point is, right? It looked like he hit him in the head, and then when he spent him around all that, I'm like, that's close. But you cannot lead with your shoulder and hit somebody in the head.
Okay, thanks for that clarification, Mike, on what is the rule for targeting. You know, that was a bad play too, because CJ Strauss threw that ball and he threw the ball so high, it was like a punt. It was in the air so long.
I didn't think he had a chance to make it.
That's how he got hit. He was standing there waiting for the ball to come down because it was in the air so long. I mean, he got creamed on that play. I mean,
he did.
I thought they was gonna need, not trying to be funny. It looked like they was gonna have to wake him up because he looked like he was out initially when he first got hit.
Hello?
That was it.
Hey, that hit knocked out Marvin Harrison Sr. too.
Hey, he might want to got his gun, man.
Or his daddy.
Hey,
long story.
He
Y'all
talking
gotta
about the
look
dad
up
be
on
want to
YouTube.
get the guns on people. Did he? Would have got the guns on
Yeah, boy. Your boy Marv, don't get the smooth taste fool you, boy. Marvin Harrison wasn't not known to say, get the strap. Look on YouTube.
I want to
That's
thank.
all I gotta say.
I do want to thank everybody that's watching us on YouTube and Twitter.
Thank you.
And what other stream we on? Is it just YouTube and Twitter? Is Twitch, Twitch TV? But I'm sorry, Facebook. Happy New Year, everybody. I saw a lot of Happy New Year posts on our page, and I appreciate everybody. We might seem to be off the Bears today, but nothing really to talk about. So we really just on here really today just to talk and have some fun and talk about what the Bears wasn't today and some other stuff that went on as far as the college playoffs are concerned. But I want to thank everybody. I'm truly grateful and truly appreciate everybody that tunes in to us.
Thanks for that, Jay, because we keep talking about the Bears, I'm going to end up cussing somebody out. They're going to kick me off the streets forever. So.
Hey, you know what? We need to open up a restaurant, man. We could open up a restaurant. Oh, no. It's all right. It could have been Five Guys, burgers, and fries. But damn, my bad. God dog it. It could have been Five Guys. Never mind.
But look, all we need to do is we got a Hispanic guy to open the store with us. We can call the restaurant Nacho Mama.
or we could do Five Guys and a Girl, or we could do Five Guys and a Girl. Tell me where you at.
Hey, that don't sound good.
Yeah, that don't sound right, Jay. Come on. Stop.
Jay, the name of that restaurant don't sound right in many aspects. Five Guys and a Girl.
That sounds a little suspect.
Hey, the Vikings getting
exposed. It's a PG show.
Right. Yeah, so we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today to watch Bears Banner. The Bears fall 41-10 to the Lions. and we was doing a little college football talk because there wasn't a lot in this game to talk about as far as the Bears and the Lions. And so we don't know the national championship this week is going. Yeah, next week is going to be Georgia and TCU. Do y'all any of y'all have anybody believe TCU going to be able to pull this off? Or
I give them a fighting chance. I do.
Why not? Why not?
Because I give them a fighting chance because I didn't think Ohio State was going to be able to put up that many points against that Georgia defense. I really
What
didn't.
Georgia defense?
I did.
And they not,
My point exactly.
and
And I'm gonna tell you, TCU is a scrappy team, man. They are scrappy, and I give them a fighting chance. I give them a puncher's chance. I give them a
Here's
puncher's
the
chance.
difference,
it ain't no. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Bob.
I was gonna say real quick. Here's the difference: when you give a team a month to prepare for somebody, you can find ins and outs and weaknesses that normally
That's true.
can't. But
Right.
you talking about 8 days to prepare. I don't know. I don't really get. I know the quarterback not gonna be running like that on Georgia's defense. I just don't think so. He's gonna have to throw the ball, and hopefully he gets some time to throw the ball. But this what's his Stetson? Ain't that some cheap men's cologne or something? If you get beat by cheap men's cologne, you just need to not.
Hey, Old Spice is ready, and Hiker Roddy can't wait.
Man, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
but you take some of that and mix a little of that brute with it.
Oh,
You smell it. You smell it. You feel like you in concussion protocol. Like,
Right.
ooh. I'm not gonna say any particular profession or nationality or whatever, but there's some particular people that do certain types of jobs at office buildings that take this cologne and just do like this for about 15 minutes, and then they just walk by and it smell like lingers for like 5 days. That's what that stuff smells like, man.
okay,
I
hey,
got nothing.
hey, how many? Now let's. I just want to bring this up since we're talking about college football. How do y'all think C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young look as far as the next level? I mean, because we all seen guys who were good college quarterbacks. That's a given. To me, two of the best college quarterbacks I ever seen in my lifetime. Well, I should say in the last 30 years were Tim Tebow and Cam Newton. I'm talking about this for me, my opinion. But I knew Tim Tebow was not a pro quarterback. I knew he was a good college quarterback, right? He knew how to win. So there are guys that I have seen on the college level that I actually looked at them as just a college quarterback. And then there was guys that I looked at where I said, man, they look like they're a serviceable quarterback. Well, they're going to be something special. I mean, do these two guys look special? I mean, anybody got any opinions on them? What you got, Jay?
I think Bryce Young is going to be a star. CJ Stroud is going to take. I think he's going to be a project. But Bryce Young is so intelligent, and the way he surveys the field and the way he moves about, I think he's going to be really, really special. The thing that scouts are going to knock on him is he's not that prototypical 6'4", 240-pound type of guy, because he's a slender guy. But Bryce Young is going to be special. Whoever draft that kid, he's going to be special. CJ Stroud is a project. He's not a day one starter. But I think whatever team Bryce Young go to, he could be a day one starter.
Okay. Yeah, because I know they have him listed at 6 feet, so which means he's about 5'11".
5'8" probably.
Yeah, 5'10", because no football players actually wants to be listed as 6 feet as a quarterback. So if they list you at 6 feet, that means you got your cleats on until you get to the combine, and they actually take your height. Then they find, like you say, 5'10", 5'11", 5'9". What's that?
Think about how bad Kyler Murray must be if they list him at 5'11". He's probably like 5'3", man.
Look at Drew Brees. Same
they
thing
used
with
to
Drew
list
Brees.
me and the media guy at 6'1". I was like, oh yeah. I'm 5'10" as hell. They got me at 6'1". I'm like, I got the media guy. I was like, damn, who's this dude they talking about? Oh, that's me. Oh, 6'1", 195. I was like 170 my senior year. Yeah. Little as hell. They got me at 6'1", 190. Hey man, hey,
yeah, they do beef you up. Yeah, they beef you up in the media guide. They
like,
do beef you up in the media guide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do. What they do is they'll say that they measure you in your cleats. Dude, to be measured, be just like, you're 5'11". Like, dude, I ain't even close to 5'11". If on my tippy toes.
Hey,
But you know what? We're talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying what's funny is I was the same height as our sports information director who used to give the stats. I'm like 6'1". I almost took my shirt off on camera.
Woo! Yeah. You know
So
what,
Jay, you think CJ gonna be more of a project? CJ?
I believe he's going to be more of a project. I don't think he's a day one starter, but I think Bryce Young is a day one starter for somebody's team. I really do. That kid is special, man. That kid is special.
Yeah, he has
So,
a high.
Jay, I got a question for you. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you think C.J. Stroud is gonna add to that Ohio State quarterback, issue where they talk about good quarterbacks don't come out of Ohio State? So, you think he's gonna help in that?
I think he's going to help in that because I've never believed in that. I've never believed don't no good quarterbacks come out of Ohio State. No, it ain't about the university. It's about the player. It ain't the university. People say
they got one quarterback
player.
maybe though in 30
it's
years.
The player.
Right?
Let me break it down. Let me break it down so it can be broke. All right.
Okay, break it down.
You come out of college, right? When you're in Alabama, Ohio State, and those type programs, you're.
When was the last good quarterback came out of Alabama?
Wait, one at a time, working with a monster. Here's what I'm saying. So you
just
look
saying.
Look at. Okay, perfect example. Mac Jones. He was throwing to Jalen Waddle and all them other guys, right? He was throwing the number one.
Exactly.
Ohio State.
Exactly.
Justin Fields,
Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson.
Right.
What them guys at? They in the NFL.
Right, now he comes and he got to throw the ball to Equinemius St. Brown. It's
exactly. That's all of you. Like Mike, you just broke it down. Yeah. I just told somebody. I was like, I was like, Justin Fields threw 40 touchdowns in his senior year. But guess who he was throwing to? Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. What are guys at right now in the NFL? Those guys are in the NFL. He's not throwing to them guys with the Bears.
Look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones has some dog, right?
He has some dog. Devontae,
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
So those guys are in, and they they making progress. The kid that played for the Lions.
For the Lions, yes.
So those are. I'm talking about you throwing a number one draft picks. Now the team you own, your receiver may be a fifth round draft.
Undrafted free agent.
So here's my argument with that. Here's my argument with that. You just talked about Alabama. Alabama has at least the last three quarterbacks that got drafted in the NFL that are being productive in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, Jones.
Jalen Hurts got dogs.
Well,
he's got Devontae Adams. Not Devontae Adams.
And Jalen Hurts actually didn't get drafted out of Alabama. Let's just make that clear.
Well, that didn't mean he didn't play and win a national championship with Alabama. You can't take that away. So my point is, in 30 years, let's look at the last 30 years. Ohio State has not come out with one quarterback that could even be looked at as competitive, and that's just Justin Fields.
Yeah.
You can't say the same thing about Alabama. They got a number of good quarterbacks that have actually represented the university.
But they still have. So let's look at this though. Tua Tagovailoa. His receivers are Tyreek Hill.
That don't hurt.
Waddle. Those are dogs. Those are.
And he had dogs at Alabama too, right?
He did, But now what I'm saying is, go to Mac Jones.
Waddle was one of them.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, dogs.
Right.
Justin Fields, number one receiver.
Darnell Mooney and Equinemius St. Brown. Byron Pringle. Come on, man.
So you can't really judge that until you get them one of those.
I think it's the perfect
This is why
situation.
I'm having that argument. That's why I'm bringing it to Jay, because I'm sick of them having a narrative that Ohio State can't turn out quarterbacks, and usually that's coming from Michigan quarterbacks. They talk about Tom Brady. They talk about Harbaugh. They talk about all of the quarterbacks that have actually came out of Michigan, who are actually no better than any of these Ohio State quarterbacks. But that still tends to still be the narrative.
Because if you think about
Except Brady.
Michigan and you talk about their quarterbacks, Tom Brady really is the only person that you can really talk about. Now, granted, Harbaugh played well after he left Chicago. He went to Indianapolis and he played pretty well.
Yep.
But I mean, his career wasn't. I mean, he had no career like.
Art Schlichter. That train's never late, Jimmy.
Hey, Vince Young.
Yeah, you know what? You almost could say that, in my opinion, about the Big Ten in general, that there are not a lot of quarterbacks in the last years.
Drew Brees, though, right?
Go to Drew Brees.
Drew Brees had some dogs when he played at Purdue.
Who is that?
But if y'all think about drafted quarterbacks in the NFL, where do they come from? Think about that. They come from Jeff George. Okay, you had Troy Aikman. He wasn't to me. Troy Aikman. It's some people in the Hall of Fame to go off to my script. That's not even Hall of Famers. Troy Aikman played at UCLA. He was not. Troy Aikman was not that good. I'm sorry. Even in the NFL, because you get rings in the NFL, you go to the Hall of Fame.
But he played with dogs.
But you played with dogs. Played with dogs.
Right. But see, and that was my whole argument at the beginning about Justin Fields when they were saying he was having problems. I pulled up Troy Aikman's stats and I didn't put a name there. And then people were like, man, this dude ain't no way he could have went to the Hall of Fame. And it was Aikman because before Emmitt Smith, because I think he came right when Michael Irvin came, if I'm not mistaken. And then Emmitt Smith came
they drafted.
One was before the other, but I know Emmitt Smith came after both of those guys. And they started building up and they started doing that. But when he came into the league, man, he was horrible.
If I remember correctly, it was Troy Aikman, then Michael Irvin, and then
you're right about that. Emmitt Smith, age wise, you're right.
Yeah. Hey, I asked that question for a reason because as we look at the draft, because we was talking about draft. This year, if I remember correctly, there was only one quarterback drafted in the first round. And that was, I'm trying to remember who it was.
I can't even remember who it was.
Yeah,
I can't even remember who it was.
I want to almost say it was David Mills, but I think David Mills was
the guy from Pittsburgh?
Yes, that's who it was.
Kenny Pickett. That's who it was.
So
that's who it was.
Was the only quarterback drafted in the first round this year. And I know a lot of people are saying teams are going to be desperate for quarterbacks, and they may actually
move up in the draft and all that stuff.
But if you look at the draft this year, teams did not do that this year. They did not reach for guys that they actually thought sucked. I know we have years where players have sucked, and I mentioned that because there's a lot of talk about the Bears have a lot of leverage. Let's go. Matter of fact, if you look at it now, they probably going to end up being 2 in Texas, number 1. And I believe Texas drafted David Mills last year. Either the second.
He went with Fields.
Yeah, he was in the Fields draft
with Fields.
Okay, he was in the Fields draft, but he was a low. He was like a third round,
somewhere around in there.
So they're not going. They're not going to stick with him. They're going to draft, I think, a quarterback. But if you look at, if we're saying CJ might be a project, he may be a person. Who else in the draft? I don't know. My point is, I don't know if the Bears have all this leverage that are people talking about as far as moving down for quarterbacks, because I don't think the quarterback crop right now doesn't look that strong. I mean, my personal opinion. I don't know.
It's not the same.
I disagree with you.
But then you also have to look at. I'm sorry, Key. You also have to look at the underwear Olympics, where people get where their draft stock can go up. Once the comeback come around. Hell, how you think we drafted Mitch Trubisky? He was the number 1 rated quarterback in the draft.
You're right.
Go figure that because of the comeback. So, you just really never know. People fall in love. People fall in love with these guys in T-shirts and underwear, and they run these ridiculous 40-yard dashes and the broad jump and all this stuff. That's impressive to these scouts. And
Yeah, but
so you just never know.
Yeah.
And Bernard, to that point, this is a quarterback-driven league. Everybody knows that. So
Absolutely.
you actually don't elevate your team unless you have one. So even if it's one that's kind of a scrub, that's better than none at all. You got too many teams. The Colts need a quarterback.
The Colts
The
need a
Saints
quarterback.
need a quarterback. You probably could say Seattle Seahawks need a quarterback because that guy's 33 years old. So
Not
that
right now.
drives
Not right now, because
market demand.
not right now, because Gino putting it on the Jets right now.
I only mention that as I know it's been a great talking point for people. Yeah,
right.
It's been a great talking point for people. I just mentioned that I don't know how much that the Bears drafted number 2 when they're not drafting a quarterback. How much leverage that is with
how much leverage they're gonna have.
As of today, there's not a lot of quarterbacks. I don't know what may happen when the combine come. I don't know. But I'm just using this year as an example that nobody moved up like that to get a quarterback. Quarterback, right. But the issues are if you take a team like Seattle faith is based off Denver. They first pick. So it doesn't matter how they do. But Seattle has another pick, a 12th pick, overall pick. They actually could not get a quarterback and actually get a quarterback with that pick. To me, they have more leverage than the Bears because they actually could leverage that 4th. Right now, I think they're 3rd overall. They actually could leverage that pick and still pick a quarterback with a 12th overall pick and could move down to 8 or 9 or something like that. To me, they have a little bit more offer and not really lose much by doing that. I don't know. That was just some scenario I was looking at because you do have some teams that are questionable. I don't think Detroit is going to draft the quarterback.
No, they're not.
Not after what Goff did to the Bears today.
He looked like he was pranking them kids in that thing that he did. Did you see it when he dressed up like the high school kid?
He did look like that, right?
He looked just like that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, you got a couple of teams. I think I definitely, like I said, I believe the Colts going to draft a quarterback. I do believe the Panthers going to draft a quarterback. I do believe the Texans going to draft a quarterback
again.
Okay, the Cardinals are not going to draft a quarterback.
They're gonna fire their coach though. They're gonna fire their coach. Because
the
sad thing about it is they gave in and they gave the little man the contract and he wasn't even worth it. And they caved and they gave it to him. So now they stuck with it. That's what the
market does,
so,
right?
Right. And so now it's one of those things where it's like, who am I gonna fire? Am I gonna fire the coach? Or am I gonna cut the player? I'll pay the coach $5 million for his buyout, but I still, if I cut this player, I still owe him $100 and such a million. So yeah, the Cardinals are in a bad situation, but they are going to fire Cliff Kingsbury, and he deserved to be fired because I feel like he didn't deserve the job in the first place anyway. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
That goes back to some of the other discussions.
That's a whole other story. Okay. That's a whole other story. Whole other story.
Yeah.
But I digress.
What you got, Mike?
Happy draft day, people. Happy draft day. Worst case scenario, we might be looking to leverage that number 2 pick, but the worst case scenario is we pick at number 2. I mean,
absolutely.
So that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
We could try to leverage that pick to get more picks and another first round and a second rounder. But worst case scenario, we're picking at number 2.
Yeah.
I want to see him try to leverage that to more picks as opposed to thinking one of these guys that I've seen is worth a number 2.
The only way I want to see that pick leverage is if we get a sucker that's got 2 picks in the first round.
That'll work.
Like Detroit, like Seattle. So I need 2 picks. For my 1, I need 2. So if I can't get that, then I'm gonna stay there and I'm gonna pick the best player available that I feel like that's gonna represent the Chicago Bears for the next 7 to 10 years.
But we can still get a 1 and a 2 because we gave up a 2 to get Claypool, so we can get our pick back. But the picks got to be in the top 8, the first round in the top 8.
Yeah,
and another high top 2 pick. So it's like we'll get a 2 for 1.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I just beating that dead horse only because when you think about when the Bears to me, when they moved up to get Mitch Trubisky, they moved because they thought, I think they thought that the 49ers was going to draft the quarterback.
Got fleeced.
Correct. If they had thought if they had thought 49ers was not going to draft a quarterback, there was really absolutely no reason to move up. They moved up to try to prevent them from drafting a quarterback, which again they ended up giving up 4 picks. And so that's why I was probably bringing up these 2 quarterbacks, because I think those are the 2 at the top of the chart right now. What would this, if Seattle was drafting 3? What would they be willing to give up to move to number 2? Nothing to me. There's
nothing, because we don't need a quarterback. So it's like whatever quarterback that's gonna be there is gonna be there.
So then I think number 4, if I remember correctly, maybe the Cardinals. The Cardinals they either 4 or 5. They don't need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback, but they ain't gonna draft one.
Right, they might, exactly. So you start getting the Lions, I believe, actually may look at their defense, because that's what the problem they was having earlier in the year, because they started out the gate as the number 1 offense in the league, but they kept losing games because they. So it's not until you start getting into the Colts and those teams when you start saying, the teams that you say, okay, they and the Panthers, where you start getting at how desperate are they?
You're right.
But how likely do you guys think that some of those teams are going to actually pick a quarterback in the first round? What teams do you?
A lot of them.
More likely.
I think
happens every time.
I think a lot of them, because right now the Raiders need a quarterback. I think they ain't gonna be in the top 10. The Raiders need a quarterback. The Colts need a quarterback. What was the other teams you're looking?
Man. They are. Nick Foles got put to sleep today.
Yeah, they are. They just bad luck.
He wasn't asleep when he started.
If he wasn't, he sure was when he left. He was when he left.
Well,
it's actually quite a few teams that need quarterbacks.
You know, one of the interesting things that ends up happening is if you have a good GM, he doesn't need to have a high draft choice to turn it into good players. That's one of the misnomers that happen. If the only time you can do any selecting, and if you got the number 1 and the number 2 pick, that means you suck at your job.
Right. You're not a very good talent evaluator.
Okay, so my example is how many guys have been 2nd round, 3rd round that fell out of the 1st round that were still good pros? Any number of them. So there's still value to be found. But if you can only find value if they show you, all of the models that are coming off the Victoria's Secret line, everybody gonna find something they like now. You ain't gonna find that many good models at the Ship Top Club though. So.
Yeah, and I would say that those guys who fell out of the 1st round were legitimately 1st rounders. What happened is they went to the combine.
Yep.
And they did not run a 4.40. Or you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. They wouldn't evaluate it by the product. And then some guy who just came up there, had all the measurables, who was on nobody's radar, he replaced them, right? Even if it was a different position. And then you have guys who just, hey, you know what? He just not a great interviewer, right? He's at the thing, they ask him questions. He kind of come off like he really don't want to be bothered with the process. And they like he got an attitude, right? And then that guy falls because they think he has an attitude. And it's not that he was not a good football player. They just didn't like the way he interviewed, They didn't like
and recently one player I'm sorry, Keith. Recently one player I want to talk about that fell in the draft, and I was sitting there watching the draft. I couldn't believe DK Metcalf. I could not believe DK Metcalf did not get drafted in the 1st round. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah. You have got to be kidding me. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he wound up falling to the 3rd.
Something like that, yeah.
The 3rd round. And I'm just like, wow.
Hey, my top story of drafting and combines and all of that comes from basketball, not even football. Kevin Durant, they decided a lot of teams said we don't want to draft him because he can't bench press 225 pounds too many times. Kevin Durant said basketball don't weigh that much. So.
Yeah, but you know what? You saw the look on all the people's faces that said that in this first year. They was like, well, maybe we made a mistake. There was somebody else too that had, of course, Justin Fields was one, But then we start like to your point, Keith, what you were talking about. Look at the Clippers back in the day. Elgin Baylor had like the number one pick about maybe anywhere from 2 to 3
All the time.
years, and they sucked. But he kept the job. God rest his soul, But still, you're right about that. I think a lot of times the more the due diligence of guys going out there instead of doing like they did with Justin Fields. Oh, his work ethic is horrible. And a black guy who has bad work ethic, it went down. But every last one of them, whoever said
Sounds
what
like
they
lazy
said
to
now,
me.
they're looking at him now like, I wonder who said that about his work ethic.
Too intelligent for the game. You're right. That's what they said about Myron Rolle, who's now
Yeah,
a neurosurgeon.
Hey, Mike, since you brought up draft, do you think the Bears should go defense, offense? What do you think they should go, Mike? We're gonna wrap this up in the next 3 or 4
Probably gonna
minutes.
say yep.
Pick up anybody. I mean, it's some intangibles. The number one thing that you need to probably ensure is to get that defensive that edge rusher. I'm looking at I'm just blown away that Detroit, the way they've been playing. They got 2 number 1 picks this year.
Yeah,
which is scary. So
that's scary, real scary,
man.
real scary.
Yeah,
Like,
they get one day picks from the Rams in that trade for Jared Goff.
And that's where the team is 8-8 right now too, and they play like they played. I know they played against. They had a good game, but the way they played,
because they got a dog in Hutchinson last year.
And whoever that dude number 59 was, that was
Houston. He from Jackson State. Undrafted free agent for Jackson State.
Yeah,
undrafted free agent for Jackson State. 7.5 sacks. 7.5 sacks in the last 6 weeks.
It's like, did y'all get to play? Y'all get to play for that bust that just hit me. They're 2 rookies though, man.
Either that,
wow,
because I think they can get like a quality wide receiver in the second round. But those are your 2 obvious needs right now. Like that, you need some high quality. You need something, some big name to come in. But I would take an edge rusher first.
Yeah, you got to be able to fix the trenches on defense, offense too. But when you just can't stop the run or you can't get to the quarterback. I mean, literally, there was times in this game where Jared Goff surveyed the field a couple of times, and was fine. Like, okay, here's my guy, right? Let me throw it here. So
he looked a lot like Tom Brady today, if you ask me.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He did.
Y'all see my boy come back and win the game, the GOAT.
Did he?
Yeah, he sure did.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Was it 3 touchdowns?
Mike Evans? Yes, of course he did.
The GOAT.
Hey, you know what I saw today? I saw a movie that they have coming out in February. It's talking about 80s for Brady's. I'm like, those are women he should be dating anyway if they going based on his age.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that too. 80s, 30, but yeah.
Highlights of the Bears.
But I just think that the Bears need to draft the best available player. But to me, they need to build through the draft and fix their offensive line and free agency. To me, I think, because what you got to do is you got to protect your franchise quarterback.
Hey,
and I think in order to do that, you got to go through free agency to build your offensive line, but you got to build on defense through the draft. Your defense and your skill players need to come through the draft, because you got a wide receiver that's in this draft that could be the number 1 in 2023 on this team right now, because we don't have one.
Well, what you
don't
got?
Have one.
No, I was going to say, hopefully we could probably even come back and maybe towards the end of the season, just look at some of the free agents and just kind of see for what we need as far as what we look at, who would we suggest as far as who we're looking at that could possibly come in that I'm not just necessarily saying on the cheap, but for a reasonable price, or even somebody that we'd have to spend some money on if they're worth coming.
And the thing about it is we got money. We got money.
Yeah.
That's the good part. We got money.
Yeah. When you think about with wide receivers, you don't have to just look at free agency with wide receivers. There's going to be one wide receiver or a couple receivers that's going to hate the team they own, and you're going to trade me. I don't want to be here no more. Just trade me. It ain't about the money, some of them. I just don't want to be here no more. So you're going to be able to get somebody who's going to probably force that type of situation. And the Bears got the money to pick up somebody who's going to do that. And looking at today's game, the Bears definitely need somebody to help stop the run, and like what Jay said, somebody who can get to the quarterback. I don't know which one you need bad, but you need both really. But it's and I was kind of disappointed with some of the line today, offensive line today. I know they had a lot of injuries, but they
All
really
of them.
And Tevin went out in the first quarter. Then who was it? Yeah, Tevin was out in the first quarter.
Who's that? Yeah.
And
we need to protect. We need to protect our franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Your free, your money that you got to go out and find somebody to protect your quarterback.
But I tell you what, though, just my opinion. At the end of the season, not Eberflus. I think Poles need to call Herbert, and they're like, "Mother, such and such. If you don't block, you gone." He is horrible.
He got to get repetitions for it too, right? If they never putting you in there on third, it's gonna be that. So that's something when they got to work on in the off season with him, and he'll get bad at it. I mean, to me, what I see going on with that is he's standing there waiting on the guy to get there. Yeah. And when you pass blocking as a back, you got to go get that guy.
You got to go get the guy.
Because if you think about it, you're trying to block a defensive end who has full speed coming at you.
And you stand flat-footed.
If you stand there and wait, he's going to get in. He's trying to stun at the same time. So the best thing you do as soon as you see he break containment, you got to go meet him.
Then you go bringing physics into this again.
Hey, but I was going to, you know what?
Like Bruce Lee said it. The intercepting fist.
But I don't want to see him turn out like Kenny Smith. Remember the one where Kobe jumped over the car and he put on his little Ed Kenny? He was about to jump and wasn't up with some shoes. He get blasted, man. He was just a pair of shoes left.
Oh man, that's one of the funniest commercials around, man.
Hilarious, man. But yeah, yeah, you're right. It's something. Yeah, he's gonna have to work on. Because my opinion, as far as Montgomery's the better back, but just the offense or whatever offense we're running now, he seems like he's more effective as far as doing his thing. So I hope
that's unfortunate. And that's unfortunate because I like David Montgomery. I like David Montgomery.
Me too.
I just don't. I just really don't think that the Bears are going to re-sign him, and I hate that, but I don't think they're going to re-sign him. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, because there may be they need more explosion on the offense, so that may be where he may end up being out of
expendable,
right?
Expendable.
You may be able to see somebody get more production. So next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings. I think did they blow this game today or it just started? I know
it just started, but they're getting whooped. They're getting mollywopped right now. As much as I hate it, Aaron Rodgers is doing his damn thing. They gonna mess around and get in the playoffs, man.
Oh yeah,
because they play Detroit. Because they play Detroit next week. Green Bay play Detroit next week. So
wait,
the winner of that game.
Today's Detroit or last week's Detroit?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know. and the thing about it is, you can't look at Detroit's this week because they was playing against, unfortunately, our Bears.
Yeah.
So
my nose still bleeds.
Which Detroit? Which Detroit is going to show up
against a team that needed to lose? That was all. I mean, it's like a guy going out there stealing a little old lady purse. She's not going to put up much of a fight. It's just then you go and brag about it. Yeah, we whooped them. Come on, man. But they got to play the Packers next week. I think the Packers. They starting to find their stride. I hate the Packers, but they starting.
I do too, man. I do too. But the sad thing about it is, they starting to find their stride. And to me, I still say Minnesota is a farce. They are a farce.
Oh yeah, they still got Kirk Cousins. He wants to throw the ball.
He gonna throw it to me, and I'm sitting in my basement.
That's what he want to do to me.
I'm open. Hold on, let me get this sandwich real quick. I'm still open.
So this week on the pregame show, we're gonna have none other than Jason Williams, former Carolina Panther,
Big Swole,
and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah.
Wait, is he gonna be able to fit on video?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He might be too big for the video camera, man. I don't know.
Oh, we will make concessions for that young man.
Right.
So he's gonna come. He since has retired, and he's gonna come on here and talk about a complimentary to our previous football one-on-one on cover 2. He's gonna talk about defensive terminology, and which is gonna lead up to Plank's show, and then we're gonna jump back over to the offense soon. But so hey, quick, I hope you can make that show so you could add some stuff to that defensive terminology football one-on-one.
Yeah, I saw a guy yesterday, man. We sitting there talking about football in the middle of
the live.
And I'm only one of 4 people out of 1,000 bros that left my collar. I'm standing up there like this, like
I hope nobody see me in front of everybody. I hope nobody see me.
They put me right up front, and I'm standing there, and they look at me like, this dude right here, bro.
Right.
What it is, I made it.
So see y'all Thursday. Peace.